On this place in history with the Vermont Historical Society, Steve Perkins is here, and just over there we have another historical marker about one of the most famous women in Vermont history.
Yeah, and I would say even in United States history. This is a woman named Emma Willard, and everybody knows her as this pioneering women educator.
So what happened here?
So Emma came to Middlebury in 1807. She was 20 years old. She moved up from Connecticut, and she was hired to be the headmistress of a women's school. Now, at the time, a women's school meant, learning to read and write. Those were good things to do, but also how to dance, how to do needlework, paint pretty pictures. These were things that women did.
Yeah.
But Emma didn't like that. She wanted women to learn more things. She wanted them to learn everything that men did.
And so she tried to go to Middlebury College. That didn't work out.
Yeah, so Middlebury College had just started, and it was only for men. And she said, "That's fine, but can I audit some courses? Can my students audit some courses?" And they said, "No, absolutely not." This got her thinking. We need to start a school for young girls. So she ended up getting married. She married a wealthy guy, doctor from Middlebury, and so her last name changed from Hart to Willard, and we know her as Emma Willard. And ultimately, she started a school right here in Middlebury for young ladies. And she taught things that they weren't supposed to be learning. So she taught geometry, she taught math, algebra, geography, all these wonderful things that, every human being should learn at some point.
And then another decision made in the capital, we kind of lost Emma.
We did lose Emma, so she became known nationwide. She wrote textbooks, she wrote essays, and then so she approached the governor of the state of Vermont and said, "You know what, Vermont needs a finishing school or a secondary school for young women. Would the state fund it?" And the governor said no. So she moved to New York. She approached the governor of New York. He said yes. And so ultimately, with private backing, some public backing, she opened a school in Troy, New York. She called it the Female Seminary, used the term seminary because it didn't conflict with school or college.
Right.
Well after her death, they renamed that school the Emma Willard School, and it's a world-renowned prep school for young women now.
And you have something on display from one of her students.
We do. So if you visit our museum in Montpelier, you can see in one of the parlor scenes a great painting of Mount Vernon that was done by one of her students. And so that's one of the few things that survive. I mean, we're talking 1820s,
Right.
so this was a long time ago. You can also visit our library and archives, and we have most of her writings, most of her essays available for you to read.
All right. Wonderful Vermonter, one of the most famous women in U.S. history, from Middlebury on This Place in History.